Welcome to the Carriker Chronicles, the People Show. Checking the Pulse of Husker Nation, brought to you by XCancer. Check them out at xcancer.com. I have a special guest today with me, starting defensive tackle for the Huskers, Mr. Colton Feist. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I appreciate you taking the time. We're getting ready to play Iowa this week. You got Thanksgiving, you got Black Friday, you got Iowa. Talk to me, because obviously Iowa, they've won a couple games in a row. Hopefully we can end that streak this Friday. But talk to me about what the Iowa game means. Is it becoming what is really a rivalry? What would it mean to get a win in this game? All of the above. Any of your thoughts?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, obviously, this is my fifth year being here, and we're yet to beat them. So, obviously, that alone kind of fires me up. And, yeah, obviously, it's a huge game, going up in Nebraska, Iowa right next to us, it's always a big rivalry game. I just think it's, you're playing for a trophy, it's another trophy game. So each game's big, but this one's really big, especially for us, with the short week, everything going on. So we've adjusted practice a little bit, short week, getting ready for that. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the game. And obviously they're playing to be in the Big Ten championship game. So I think that gives us a little energy to feed off of to not let them do that. So.
What's it been like playing for Coach Mickey Joseph the past couple of months? I mean, to say this has been an up-and-down season would be a gargantuan understatement. But what's it been like since he became the interim head coach and playing for a guy like that?
Yeah, I just think Coach Mickey Joseph obviously is a great guy. I think he's been very personable. He'll talk to me. He'll talk to everyone, when you're doing good things, when you're doing bad things, what he wants to see out of you, personal things like that. Goals, stuff like that. So I think he's done a really good job of leading this team and being a good leader and getting everyone to follow him. Obviously you can tell we've been still playing hard with everything that's been going on, which may have been not so easy to do in some years, but I think he's done a great job of really keeping us together and driving us forward. So
talk to me about a guy like Bill Bush as well. Okay, Mickey becomes the interim coach, then you got Chenander for a week, he gets let go, then you got Bush, you got a bye week, and bam, you're hitting the ground running. And I asked him on Friday's walkthrough, I'm like, did you know any of the defense? He's like, no, I didn't know any of it. He was so focused on special teams. So from him, it was ground zero. For you guys, it was kind of ground zero with him. What's it been like playing for him these past couple of months since he took over the defense as well?
Yeah, obviously, playing a little bit on special teams, playing on punt. Me and him had a pretty good relationship already. He's obviously a huge relation guy. He can obviously recruit very well. So I think that was a big thing for me going in. I kind of already knew him a little bit. But when he stepped into that role, he's been putting every inch of effort into it, getting the coaches to coach us hard. A little bit of different scheme stuff, different ideas than maybe Chenander had, so a little more odd stuff. But yeah, I think he's done a great job of leading the defense, getting us in different calls. Maybe he can see something on film that he likes. He's really open about that. So I think he's done a tremendous job. And me and him have a really good relationship, so that helps too.
Now, you're a guy from Nebraska, from Utan, Nebraska. You walked on to the football program there. These are going to be some similar questions I actually asked Luke Reimer last week because he walked on as well. But what does it mean to you? Does it still mean what it used to mean to kids growing up? But what does it mean to you being from Nebraska, playing for Nebraska, and walking on at the University of Nebraska and then earning a starting defensive job?
Yeah, I think obviously growing up here in Nebraska, this is all you ever dream of, I didn't have very many offers coming out of high school, maybe a little undersized. And, I was really set on going to Wayne State because, Nebraska never really gave me any interest or anything, but when Frost came in, obviously, he had that little walk-on night deal, and I was fortunate enough to get a walk-on, and it didn't take me very long to accept it. Growing up here, this is all you ever want to do. I think sometimes you get caught up in the day-to-day things. I've been here for 5 years. Things become a little normal to you. But like I said, I was giving someone a tour the other day from my hometown, and like the kids seeing it, putting UTAN on the map, maybe for recruiting, maybe they can, people that go there work hard, So I think it just means a lot to me, coming from a small town, walking on, and then now becoming a starter.
So you're listed at 6'2", 275. Is that your current weight? Is that up to date at all?
Yeah, I'm a little heavier than that, about 282-ish.
Okay.
I was about maybe 287 during camp. Lost about 5 pounds. So yeah, I cover from about 282. This is my usual weight nowadays.
Okay. So I always take
a little undersized.
No, that's okay. I always take listed weights with a grain of salt. So I always, as a freshman, if you remember who DeMario Williams was, I would always weigh after him on Thursdays when we weighed. And one Thursday, he got on there. This is a linebacker, and he went to defensive end in nickel situations. That scale said 207. He turned around and told our strength staff 225. And, of course, I didn't say anything because I'm a freshman. I ain't saying nothing, but I was like, oh, my God. So I always take those listed weights with a gigantic grain of salt. But actually, back to you. So from a small town, a little bit undersized, walking on at Nebraska, what did it mean to you to earn that starting defensive job at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, it meant everything to me, Obviously, along my journey here, I've had a few injuries, that set me back, things like that, nature. So 2 of my seasons were kind of messed up from that, especially last season with breaking my foot twice. So kind of just keeping the vision of having your goal in mind of being able to start at a, Nebraska Big Ten school and make that dream come true was huge. And then in Ireland, obviously, I got a black shirt, so that was even a bigger deal, That was a very memorable trip for me, even though the results weren't what we wanted. So, yeah, it's been, I would say, I would not regret this ever. Any kid that ever has the opportunity to do it, they should.
So I know that the black shirts aren't currently being used on the team, but that moment you got the black shirt, everything you've dealt with, battled with, overcome, what was that moment like for you?
Yeah, it was crazy. There was a lot of things running through my head, just kind of knowing that all the hard work really paid off. And obviously it just all didn't pay off at that one time, So it was more of a thing where you put in all that work over the years to have that end goal in mind, and finally reaching that, obviously I wanted more to perform well. So
obviously there's a bigger picture in mind when Coach Joseph decided to take back the black shirts and not continue them this season. Obviously he's thinking about other things as well as the head coach of the team. What was that moment like for you? I'm sure there was a little bit of, this kind of stinks, but beyond that, what was that moment like for you? And is that something you're cool with to this day?
Yeah, I mean, I understand it. Obviously at first I was kind of shooken up a little bit, but obviously the team comes before everything. So whatever we can do to not have selfish mentality, maybe stuff like that. So anything that can make the team better, and if that's what Coach Joseph thinks, then that's what we're going to roll with. So I respect that.
Now, there was a lot of, obviously, the transfer portal, man. It's become a ginormous part of college football. So you have guys transferring in on that D-line, too. You have Stephen Wynn from Alabama, who was one of the top 300 recruited players when he came out of high school. You got Drew from Texas Tech, who had started a lot of starting experience in the past. Here you are. You're a guy who's busting your butt, trying to overcome some of these things. What were those moments like for you, and how was the relationship with them, with yourself, Ben?
Yeah, it's been great. Obviously this spring we were real low on numbers, so we were getting a lot of reps, and those were probably reps that I needed, not really having much game experience, stepping into those roles. So I think the spring was good with getting all those reps, but then obviously when they came in, they needed reps to learn the defense and stuff. So it was a good competition all fall camp, to see who was going to earn the starting spots and stuff like that. So me, Wynn, Drew, all of us have a really good relationship. So I think that's kind of a good thing and important, especially when you're playing as a unit. You're obviously going to need subs. You can't play the whole game. So it's awesome to have those guys here, and I think they've done a great job.
For me, I think some people understand the value of the walk-on program, and I think some people kind of question it. And Drew's obviously started, and Stephen Wynn's very, very talented. But when a walk-on ends up earning that spot from a small town in Nebraska, and that just shows to me how important that walk-on program still is. Can you speak maybe to the fans, to Husker Nation, about what the walk-on program obviously means to you, but to this football program as a whole?
Yeah, and I think you look back into the days when we were doing real well, there was walk-ons from all over, small towns, bigger cities from whatever, Omaha, Lincoln, whatever. And I think like for a guy like me, just kind of bringing that hard work mentality, showing maybe these out-of-state guys, who come from different places, maybe showing them how we work here, so that's something that kind of prided myself on, is hard work and kind of just doing everything the right way, and that's such a thing. So, yeah, I think it's just a major role in development of this program. Myself, Wyatt Lever, Brody Bell, all these guys that have seen, starts or lots of game time, they wouldn't be here if they weren't walk-ons, you know what I mean? So.
Yep. Well, thanks for joining me, and until next time, Husker Nation, go Big Red, and always remember,
throw the bones.
This show is brought to you by XCancer. Join the fight at XCancerStore.com and support your loved ones, your neighbors, and cancer fighters all over the world and help them gain access to revolutionary treatments. XCancerStore.com has a wide variety of t-shirts and merchandise supporting a wide variety of cancer battles so you can show off the colors that matter. Proceeds from each purchase not only help those at home, but also cancer fighters in Tanzania, Africa. Check them out at XCancerStore.com.